everybody, my name is Kat. Today I want to talk about some really great thrillers that I've seen no one else talk about. They're really some hidden gems. And I separated them out into whatever craving you're feeling. So if you're wanting some really well-written, complex characters, or if you want some suspense or some really good dark atmosphere, then we've got it. So watch to the end, see if there's any that pique your interest, and yeah, let's get going. For book one, I'm going to choose Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. This was a masterpiece for atmosphere. It felt so dark, it felt grimy, like something strange was going on beneath the surface the entire time, even when you knew nothing. So you follow a journalist named Camille, and she is called to go back to her hometown for work because two young girls have been murdered. And so she ends up staying with her parents, her mom. You know, she learns in staying with them, she learns a few things about their family history. And she has to decide whether she wants to dig deeper or if she wants to let it go and just move on. The first thing is, I feel like it's always a small town. It's always set in a small town, which, I mean, it works really well. I'm not bashing, but I just think it's funny. There's definitely mommy issues in this book, and they're like on the level of like Azula from Avatar, The Last Airbender. It's pretty bad. So maybe worse, actually. It probably is. So that one was kind of interesting to unfold, and like as it revealed why they had such a bad relationship. And the ending had me slack-jawed. Like, I did not see it coming at all. I think I'm not the best guesser when it comes to like mysteries. I never guess the right ending, but I think that makes it double the fun for me, because I never know what's coming. It's always a surprise. There's always many more twists for me than other people, so I enjoy it. So if you're looking for some really good suspense in your thriller, then I recommend Five Total Strangers by Natalie D. Richards. I really like this book because it was not too hard to think about. A lot of thrillers, I feel like there's a lot of facts thrown at you, and a lot of times they're trying to subvert the truth or like obfuscate what's going on. But with this one, I feel like there was a lot of suspense and not much like happening until the end. It was good though. I really enjoyed it. It's not bashing it. I really enjoyed that part. It's because it was an easy audiobook to listen to. It was a nice, fast, easy read, but still got me my thriller fix, you know? It's basically what happens in this one. A girl named Mira is coming home because there was a significant loss in the family, and she's trying to see her family. I think she's trying to go to the funeral, I don't remember. And she meets some people on the plane that she decides to hitch a ride with to get home because there's a huge blizzard. And so they get in this car together, and as you go, you realize, oh, she doesn't know these people, and she's probably in danger, but she can't get out because she's stuck in a blizzard. It's kind of awful because it's like that helpless feeling, and she realizes she wishes she didn't get in the car with them. But that's a whole nother conversation. I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but I really like this one. It wasn't too hard to read, but really enjoyable still at the same time. So if you're looking for a thriller with really well-written, morally gray characters or complex characters, I'd recommend The Kind Worth Killing by Lily Kinter and Henry Kimball. This one was one of my favorite thrillers up until recently when I read a different one. But this one had me in a chokehold because I loved the characters. And I don't know if you're supposed to. I might be a psychopath, but it was really fun. It was really fun to follow Lily as you see her growing up. So a man named Ted meets a woman named Lily on a plane ride, and he's talking about how his wife just cheated on him, and he jokes that he kind of wants to kill her. And Lily goes, oh, do you want me to help with that? And he's kind of like, oh. But soon enough, they talk, and he realizes it wasn't a joke. So I don't want to spoil too much else about it. My favorite part about this book is that the author got me to care so much about the main character that I didn't care what she did, I still rooted for her. So I really love it when authors can get me to root for a completely trash character, like bad, evil, bad, someone I probably would not be friends with even. And that's what they did in this book. So I really enjoyed it. It was a fun journey. There's a lot of manipulation. Writing in this really keeps you on your toes, so you don't know what's going to happen next. So you're just like racing to get to the next page to understand what the characters are doing. Yeah, I really like this one. If you're looking for a thriller with a satisfying conclusion, I'm going to lead you to The Last Mrs. Parrish by Liv Constantine. I loved this book. It had such a satisfying ending, and I really enjoyed the writing too. It was well paced. Basically what happened in this book, a woman named Amber meets Mrs. Parrish, and I think her first name is Daphne, but she meets Mrs. Parrish and she's like, oh my gosh, I want to be her. I want everything she has, this beautiful beach house and, you know, perfect family, perfect husband. He's very handsome, rich, powerful. And so Amber really wants to be everything that Daphne is. And so for the first half of the book, you get Amber's perspective, and for the second half, you get Daphne's. And it's really, really good. I remember switching the perspectives and seeing like, oh, that's what's happening. I did not realize that that was what was going on. So again, that just might be me not being good at guessing what's going on behind the scenes. My favorite part is that justice is served, like karma's real. I feel like there's so many unfair things that happen in real life and in books. I mean, everything. And sometimes it can be hard to watch, but this book, you know, everything is set evenly as it should be. If you're wanting a satisfying ending, go with this book. I bet you won't be disappointed. Okay, so the last book that I want to recommend today, I just put it under the perfect horror / thriller. I realize that's not super helpful, but it's the best one I've ever read, and it encompasses all of these different things, really. So if you're looking for a really good thriller, I cannot recommend this one enough. And this one is not a hidden gem. This one's very well known. It's Misery by Stephen King. If you haven't read this one and you're a thriller fan, I need you to get on this because it's so good. So good. Oh my gosh. Basically what happens, an author named Paul gets into a car wreck and a woman named Annie saves him and brings him back to her little house in the middle of nowhere. And she's a nurse, a retired nurse, and so she nurses him back to health. And then she finds out what his plans are for his next book, and she doesn't like it. She has certain things that she wants done for his next book, and so he realizes that they're not suggestions, they're demands, and they come with threats. And he learns that they're not bluffs real quick, actually. And so okay, first of all, I remember distinctly, I was reading this, I was working at a gym at the time, and I was reading it, and I was reading a part, well, I don't want to spoil it, but I was reading a certain part near the end-ish, and I do not remember ever feeling this way during another book. I physically gagged because the smell that Stephen King was describing was so potent, and I could imagine it so well. It was disgusting, but also amazing that an author can make me gag, like physically gag. So that was amazing. I also felt like it was super realistically written to the point where, because it's a horror book, and so there's some things that are not normal that happen, and so it felt so realistic that when those things happened, I felt like I was out of my body. Like, it did not feel real, but it also was at the same time. I'm so bad at describing that. It was also the most frightened I've ever been reading a book. It was seriously, like, I talked before about how realistic his writing was in this book, and that made me so much more scared. Like, I've read lots of supernatural books and I don't really get scared of that, but when I read this, with no supernatural elements, it's all real life, and it kind of scarred me a little bit, but in the best way. It was amazing. Some of the imagery too, whenever I see like lawnmowers that you sit on and you ride, I still remember this book, and I read this a little while ago. I mean, it's been a while. And so, all in all, as you can see, this is the best written horror book I've ever read. Horror/thriller. I also found myself rooting for Paul because he's a very clever guy. I mean, there's a reason why he's such a beloved author in this world. He's so clever, and I don't want to give too much away, but he's very good with dealing with Annie, but he also has his flaws. You know, he's kind of egotistical a little bit. He's a very manipulative man, and you can definitely see that. He wasn't always a good person in real life. He was just kind of likable in a weird way. I remember when I picked this book up, I thought it was pretty comical the way that Stephen King wrote this. Like, it seems like it's his nightmare because he is an author, both Paul and Stephen King, and so it seems like this is his nightmare. This is the scariest thing that could happen to him, which, picking it up, I was like, there's no way this is gonna be that bad, but I understand now. I feel like after reading this, I have some new theories about Stephen King and how he actually feels. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked any of these recommendations, please let me know by liking or subscribing. If you read any of these, or if you have read any of these books, let me know in the comments and tell me which one, and if you agree with my analysis of them. Bye!